Alright, Shinshiro is basically Flashpoint, bro. Everything stems from him. Like, that character, everything begins with him, it seems like. Because look at the amount of connections that comes down to that brother. The Black Dragons, he was like the first generation leader. Of course, he's Mikey's brother. We now learn that he's also Izuna's brother, which of course means is also Mikey's brother. Of course, Mikey states that he reminds him of Takemichi reminds him of his brother. Like, there's just so much things connected to Shishino. I think his name is Shinshiro. Yeah, Shinshiro. So many connections leading to him, back to him. He's basically like Flashpoint. If you've seen the Flash, like everything led back to his mother's death, you know? Like, that changed everything. And it looks like his brother's death changed everything and was what keeping the world in peace, I guess, you know? Or at least Japan with gangs. But seriously though, this episode had a lot of information to discuss and talk about. Cause first things first, I can't let this slip by. The fact that Mikey's older brother, Shinshiro, he literally told Mikey when he was younger that he left Black Dragons for him to lead one day.
ブラックドラゴンはお前に継いでほしくてお前のために残したチームだから。
It all starts to make sense why Kiseki always planned to have like a gang like Black Dragons or anything similar to that to merge with Tomon. Because it seems like it's always been Mikey's desire probably to take over the Black Dragons some way, somehow, because of the promise to his brother, I guess, I'm assuming, you know? Because it's always the case that like, oh, Tomon merges with this, with that, with Black Dragons, and that's how it becomes evil. And that's why I'm thinking like Takemichi, his game plan has to be to take over the Black Dragons. It has to be. It's not Tomon that he needs to be running. It has to be the Black Dragons, because it seems like that's the way to really change around the future. Let me know if you agree with that or not, but I believe that's going to be the case. That's probably what Takemichi has to do to change everything. But in order to do that, I think Takemichi finally understands the assignment. This man finally said it. I was literally saying this in my last video, that he has to kill Kiseki, and he finally said it this episode. Killing Kiseki and of course probably Izuna as well is probably the only way to like end everything. Especially if one of them could go back in time and travel back and forth, you know? It's the only way. Because I really don't see any other way. Like, what peaceful method is there? Like, they're determined to achieve their goals. They're not really backing down on anything. They don't really have a reason to. Like, their desires are so tied in with their emotions and their past and who they are as a person. It's just so tied in together. It's gonna be so difficult and hard to like talk no jutsu them out of it. So I agree with Takemichi. I don't know if he really could do anything else other than like getting rid of them, removing them from existence. Now the thing is, right, even though Takemichi says that, I just remember this too. One of his childhood friend like sold his soul basically to Izuna. I don't know why. Probably something happened in the past is the reason why he did that. But yeah, like, how is he gonna respond to that? You know, he's not gonna let that happen. You know, like, he's going to stop Takemichi. So I'm assuming that's gonna be a big conflict between them. Is like, because Takemichi has humongous hatred towards both those characters, especially what happened to Naruto. Like, that's ridiculous. That's actually crazy in the end of the last episode. So I'm curious to see how their interaction is going to be in the future between him and his childhood friend. Like, that's going to be crazy. Speaking of Naruto, the fact that he can't go back to the future, does that mean that's for like the rest of the series? Or you know, maybe it's just for the season and he just figures it out how to go back into the future. But like, is it really over? He can't like use any of his powers or abilities? Because like, if that's the case, they really gotta have an explanation of how it works and what's the formula. Because if it's the case where like, if whoever you're linked to dies, is over, like you basically just like useless, don't have any powers anymore, then I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough for Takemichi, but it's very interesting the fact that he can't go back into the future. I mean, he has been succeeding a lot in the past, so like I ain't really worried about him too much, because he somehow always finds a way in the past. In the future, he's been getting crushed. He's been getting obliterated in the future, but in the past, he could hang on his own, you know. Now, here's another thing. It was stated that Izuna doesn't even like Mikey in the first place. So, well, at least currently. So I wonder what changes to where they get along in the future. You know, like what could possibly change? Maybe like a message or a letter from Shinshiro, or maybe when Mikey decides to share the gangs and be co-leaders with each other. That's probably when that happens. Because I was wondering, like, because I remember too in the last episode, Izuna was like, well, at least his future self was like, oh, you killed my Mikey, you know. But like right now in the past, he ain't claiming him at all. Like, so I'm assuming that's the case. Like after the whole incident, and like probably Mikey decides to compromise, and even though his brother left the Black Dragons for him, he decides to share it with Izuna. I think that's probably what improved their bond tremendously. That's probably my theory, but we'll probably see in this during this season. Now the last thing I want to talk about, right? Why the hell is this guy like, why did he betray Toman? For real, you know what I just thought of? I'm starting to think Izuna is the person that could time travel and not Kiseki. Here's why. I don't know, maybe because like he said, this guy right here stated that like Izuna is the one who like gave him the orders to capture Takemichi and all that, and of course they captured these two characters that ended up leaving Takemichi's leadership anyways. So like I wonder if after they realized that in the last episode that they failed to kill Takemichi and he went back in the past, I wonder that's when like Izuna went back into the past and like decided to find Takemichi as fast as possible. That could be the case. And it seems like I might be right, because it seems so fast that he would target Takemichi. Like why him right here right now, you know? I don't see any reason to, and also I don't see any reason to capture these two as well. And the only way it would make sense is if the ones in the future were aware that Takemichi went back in the past, and they went back in the past themselves to make sure that he doesn't do anything and mess up the timeline. It has to be the case. So yeah, you let me know if you agree with that or not as well. But there's just a lot of thoughts that's been going through my head after watching this episode. Every episode really been having me thinking about a lot of theories and a lot of potential events that could happen in this season. But definitely this show, Tokyo Revengers, is really doing a good job and just giving us enough information to look forward to the next episode, but also keeping back enough so that we can run through theories and speculations, and like based on the evidence we already have, you know, debate on what's going on and what's next to come. But yeah, you let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Did you agree with anything I said? Do you disagree? What are some of your theories for the future episodes? And yeah, let's have a conversation in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.